Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. You know, when when I talk to you, and I'm always talking to you about a better life. I'm always talking to you about stuff such as freedom. I keep talking. And my reason for doing it is that if no one was on this earth but you live like you want to live. And if all of us was on this earth like we are, we still want to live like we want to live. And to a certain degree, we have that right. Now, what we don't have that right to do is to cause confusion amongst ourselves. In other words, when we are doing our thing, if our thing is causing so much conflict with everybody else is doing thing, conflict and conflict, that won't work. That's out of order. So you have to, between you, those things that you just want to do, just got to do, you got to work that out amongst everybody that it affects. Theirs, yours, and so on and so forth. Work it out. If it affects them, you have to agree on it happening. But there are certain things that it's common. It got to happen. Food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, transportation, education, all that other stuff. Hey, that's mandatory for you to have some sense or to utilize the ability to express sense thinking. Well, it bothers me, and I'm sure it bothers anyone that have some compassion about that stuff, who cares about that stuff. It means something too. And I say these things because I'm a black person. And in my view, if I see a black person doing something that's shameful for me, it might not be shameful for them. They're doing it. They've made a choice, but I'm here observing it. And to me, it can be shameful to me. I would say stuff like, see, I guess that is motivated by the fact that I have been blessed. You know, love has been raining down on me. Oh, I've gone through some hell. But love has rained down on me during my lifetime, immeasurable. I mean, it's like pouring water. The love that I have received in this life. Oh, you wouldn't think it. But the truth of the matter it is. And it affects me in such a way that, to me, everybody should generate that kind of love toward one another. To me, there's no better way to live. This came to me, I wasn't asking. I needed it, I guess. I didn't know at the time, but it was there. Always there. A lot of times the pain and stuff had to come first. But it was there. And so to me, all human beings should have that luxury of having a life that's been loved. And so when I think about you, I think about you being loved. I think about the best of you. I think about the best of you. And when I see something that falls as far as I can see or measure less than you, it affects me. It's embarrassing. So if I see a brother or sister, really anybody, but more than likely, to this degree, a brother or sister, it tears me up. Now, if I have that, how am I to measure that? You know, that's kind of small. Can I take that any higher? Then that is to say, if I'm in a foreign country and maybe even wearing a uniform, and while in that foreign country, my government is doing something that's causing havoc to other people, whether at home or whether in another country, especially if it's causing it in another country. Lord forbid if in the country that I'm in. And you're doing shameful stuff, the kind of stuff that's, hey, why are you doing that? That's robbing of the freedoms. That's taking of the life. So that's embarrassing to me. So my nation, if I got a uniform on, embarrasses me. How do I respond to that? Then I might have to start wearing a uniform. You know, it's no good for me to say I don't like it. It's no good for me to say that pisses me off. That ain't gonna stop nothing. And I'm not causing any harm when I say I'm not causing any violence to anyone. If I take up that uniform, I'm making a statement. If I'm saying I'm not going to follow your orders, I'm making a statement. Well, I'm saying you're not morally fit to talk to me that way. So that's my purpose. And that's the way I speak to it. And it's more than me sitting up there somewhere drinking some tea, talking about they shouldn't do that. And whatever comes, comes. Or I might feel really, really sick if my nation, out of all the stuff that's going on in my nation, I'm talking about the United States of America, and all of a sudden we have an election talking about who is going to be the spokesman for a so-called great democracy, a shining nation on a hill, held up before the world to see us when we appreciate God, our religiosity, to see us how we respond to education, to see us as that example of how we respond to healthcare, to see us as the example of how we respond to people having access to careers that would allow them to live a wonderful life. I mean, this is an option. Think just for a minute. Now you, my friends, have heard what I just said. That doesn't happen. And so if that doesn't happen, I see before my nation someone that represents all of the things that's ugly. Not all of the things, but everything they do seem to be like that. You know, ugly, despicable. I mean, this is what they do. This is what is happening. These are the things that's happening. Then my nation says that one that doesn't care is the one that should be leading this nation, is the one that should be spokesman for this nation. Wow. No, it's embarrassing to see this brother or this sister over there looking crazy. It's embarrassing to see my nation out there doing some things that's shameful to other people in other countries and things. It's embarrassing to see a crook that breaks all the rules and get away from the punishment what everybody else is being punished for. And the nation says, we want you. Now, how do you think I feel about the people in this nation? I mean, I know you don't care, but it's shameful. It's shameful that the people of this nation would choose a liar, a thief, would choose a hater, a racist, a bigot, or if he isn't, he comes off like it, and reject everybody playing a part in life. That we're just smart enough to know that if you're here, God dog it, you should be doing something. If you're here, you're taking up something, and you should be doing something. You're here. To be here, you got to live. To live means you got to do something. Now be wise and choose your doing. Don't be led by fools. Don't be led by people lying and cheating and stealing and hating and racism and you don't know what the truth is. Guide yourselves where you want to go. And let that place be decent. Let that place be someplace you are not ashamed of. Do it. Let it be that everybody can have a career. There are so many things in the world to do that's being done. And there's so many other things that you don't even know what they are yet. So spend some time discovering, determining what they are, or some of them are. Everybody have a career. And so far, we have it set up that those careers are essential in the process of causing a manifestation of those things that we have already determined as people are necessary in having a satisfied life here. So we just make sure that people, and they are there. If they're not, they will be, by their own choices. They will be choosing which gives them the greatest joy. And I'm always saying, when you're having joy in what you're doing, you're spending your life in joy. And that great God, I'm not talking about a Republican or a Democrat or American or some other. I'm talking about that great power that is responsible for the existence of us all. Has connected those ends, interconnected those ends, that after we and while we are enjoying our daily lives, what are we doing? We're creating heaven on earth. How can you resist that and choose what we were offered and what you accepted? How can you do that? You don't think that's shameful? You could have had your peace, your prosperity, your freedom, your joy and your happiness, and the opportunity to live your dreams. Your needs, your wants, and your desires met at your choosing. Without lying and cheating and stealing, without hating and being a racist. And you say, I'd rather the hate by your votes. You don't think that's shameful? You ought to be ashamed. But I know you can't be ashamed if you don't know. Well, I've just shared with you, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing with you is not helping you to know. You won't just know because I'm sharing this with you. But you have the opportunity to give it some thought. And I'm saying this to you because I truly think that a man can't do any better in life than to want to live, really live. And that living involves all the people living without pain, without suffering, their needs and wants being met. To me, if there's anything that I can do to help facilitate something like that, then my life, you've heard it said many times, is not in vain. And at that moment, I'm thinking just like those who were first, the ones who were the first to sit up on that bus and said, I'm not going back to the back. I'm talking about that first who says, I'm not drinking at a segregated fountain. I'm talking about that one who said, I'm not going to a segregated school. I'm talking about that one, my friends, that says, I'll sit on the moon. And I got enough space for us to sit there together. That's what I'm talking about. I don't have time to fuss with white people. Who want to be fussing? Trying to see who can get the lowest. Who can go most hateful. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. I am ashamed not just of the people who voted for Donald Trump. I'm ashamed of the people who didn't vote for Donald Trump, because I know they are going to go along with whatever is happening. You see, all of this was observed in the making. This could have been stopped, but nobody stopped it. It was not demanded that people stop it, and it didn't get stopped. And now the consequences of that is right in our faces. And the plan, the training that has been set up before you, and what they plan to do to us as human beings, led by foolish human beings who think they're smart because they've stolen all the land, because they've stolen all the resources, because they've made money and stolen our lives away from us because we were stupid and didn't know any better. They got a plan for us that does not involve that wonderful life that I just got through sharing with you. And yet the wonderful life that I just got through sharing with you is the kingdom for the wonderful life they'll have. You know why? Because ain't no money going to be doing nothing. Money be just like sandpaper. Well, sandpaper you can sand. That money won't mean a thing. Not a thing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sharing some stuff with you this evening. For those of you who needed it, I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time. Once again, this is Eddie Marcus, and this is about your life, your freedom now.